Hey everyone, I'm Gary Wicks, upright and electric bassist and educator based here in Los Angeles. In today's lesson, we're going to dig into one of my favorite topics, groove and pocket playing. We'll break down a simple funk-inspired groove over a G7 chord, and we're going to discuss how to lock in rhythmically with the drummer and to create a motif, a simple bass line that's powerful and establishes a great feel and phrasing for the rest of the band to build upon. Alright, let's jump in. Here's a funky groove motif we're working on today, playing over a G7 chord. Check it out. The idea here is to be able to establish a groove that locks with the drums and creates a clear motif that the rest of the band can settle into. Always note whether the drummer is subdividing their groove into an 8th note subdivision or a 16th note subdivision. This is crucial to locking it in. In this case, there's a 16th note subdivision. I even added a shaker outlining the 16th note to really dial in that tight 16th note pattern. That way, when I play grace notes or ghost notes or any 16th movement, it can really be tight and precise. Be sure that you create a line that is clear and not too busy. I always think about the subdivision of the music as kind of a grid. So if we have a 16th note grid, those little grids is where everything is going to lock in rhythmically. That's why it's super important to pay attention to that before you start creating your bass line. If the drummer's kick drum pattern is based off of a 16th note subdivision and you're grooving off of an 8th note subdivision, it's not going to line up right and it's not going to feel good. Now be sure to create a line that is clear and not too busy. We want some rhythmic elements involved, playing with some varying inflections from your right hand to create some depth to our groove. But we don't want to do too many notes too soon. It'll ruin the pocket and the vibe, and it doesn't give anyone else in the band any space to play as well. Establish the opening motif, add some rhythmic value to it, some depth, some creativity, and let it ride. Lock in with that drummer and enjoy it. You'll notice that the start of my bass line was really simple, just sitting on a low G and trying to kind of dial it into the kick drum pattern. That established an immediate feel and vibe to what this groove is going to sound like. The second half of my phrase was more syncopated, offbeat movement, moving in an ascending way up the octave, outlining the G7 chord, and dropping back down to start the phrase over again. One of the keys to pocket playing is be repetitive. Don't be afraid to play the same phrase multiple times. That really establishes the groove that everything is built upon. Of course, there's room for variation. You can play around with the in-between notes, how much rhythmic nuance you add into it, how much you simplify it. Remember, leaving space is always a great tool. Less is more. Okay, now let's take a look at that line a little bit slower. We were at 100 BPM before. I slowed it down to 80. Check it out. Now, you'll notice that the main notes I was playing were pretty full and sustained, but the in-between notes where there was movement and rhythmic activity was a combination of short staccato notes, ghost notes where I pluck with my right hand, but my left hand is muting the string instead of letting it ring out. And within all of that, the amount of strength I used in my right hand with plucking the notes varied, so that there was a shape to the line, peaks and valleys, if you will, adding inflections that, in the context, deepens the groove, deepens the pocket, so it feels more exciting, more compelling, And everyone else in the band is going to feel more inspired to dig in and join me and play over that. Give it a try yourself. A rule that I live by when I'm practicing, no matter what the genre is, electric bass, upright bass, classical, jazz, pop, funk, whatever, always, always, always practice your parts with a metronome or some form of timekeeping that's going to be honest and keep you accountable. Always a metronome that can subdivide 16th or 8th notes or triplets, or in this case, a drum loop that you can play along to, a shaker loop that's going to be insistent, is never going to let up. So that way you know if you're off from that, it's you. And you've got to keep working on that. If you're messing up, slow it down. Always practice slow. Focus on accuracy, consistency. You want to make sure that your right hand, and this is the trick here to getting the nuances and the inflection, make sure that your right hand is consistent. Practice plucking with the different fingers at a slow tempo, alternating between first, second, third, or however many fingers you use. And do it consistently with a metronome so you practice getting your articulations very even, so that if I was listening and not looking, I might not know which finger you're plucking or if you're alternating because it's pretty consistent. Then within that, you have the ability to dig in harder, lighten up, create this variation of inflection that deepens the groove. That's the secret to it all. Thanks for hanging with me today. Groove playing is all about feel. So keep experimenting with your dynamics, your space, your articulation. Really get a control over your right hand technique so that you can have inflection in your phrasing that will deepen the pocket and make your bass lines just feel great. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Gary Wicks. I'll see you next time.